Right, dark and early, just how I like it. Welcome to KUTV Kenya. This is KUTV Rise Today, and the edition you're watching is Biashara Tuesday. We're broadcasting live to you from our KUTV stations in the vicinity of the capital of Kenya, Nairobi. And we're very happy to have you here this morning. Do tell us where you're watching from and how it's looking like for you as the sun rises over the Nairobi capital. We find ourselves here in a bustling nature of activity and at the epicenter of political fever and economic deliberation. Today, the stage is set for a captivating session over at the hallowed halls of Parliament, where the nation's lawmakers are set to dive deep into a set of pressing matters. This is coming a month after members of Parliament went into a recess, and now they're back into a full in-tray. The finance bill of 2023 takes center stage, commanding the attention of members of Parliament as they do prepare for that vigorous debate. But that's not all that they're expecting in their full in-tray. There are a couple of appointments which are looming in the horizon, first of which is the nomination of the Director of Public Prosecution, Nordin Haji, to become the next Director General of the National Intelligence Service. This is among those key issues which are going to be debated, and definitely, undoubtedly, this will reverberate throughout the nation. In the midst of this political storm, President William Ruto finds himself in the center of his own set of challenges, creating an atmosphere of intrigue and anticipation. One of those things is that Azimio side have cancelled or have postponed their bipartisan talks temporarily, waiting to see and also claiming that they've rallied and whipped up enough support to oppose this finance bill of 2023. That's one. Secondly, courts have also weighed in on this matter and certified urgent a petition by Busia Senator Okiya Omtata, activist turned politician, who is now claiming that the finance bill of 2023 is unconstitutional, and this has been certified urgent, waiting to hear the decision by the courts. On the other hand, the president and his deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, have issued marching orders to their own members of parliament to ensure that this finance bill sees the light of day and is in effect as beginning of July 2023. And they have also issued a stern warning to any members of parliament who are going to dare and oppose this finance bill of 2023. So this move has also casted doubt into public participation, raising questions about the democratic process and the role of citizen in public participation in the nation's matters of financial policies. So, as we embark on this show, we're going to have a look at that. I'll be sitting down with Wakili Robin to have a discussion on the finance bill of 2023 and any other developments which are there in the nation that are building up this political storm and other economic deliberations that are key for nations, millions of Kenyans who will be watching with bated breath to see what kind of decision members of parliament are going to be getting to in matters of the finance bill of 2023. When we're discussing matters of finance, of course, we cannot veer away from the very core, the spine of finance, which is taxes. If you have a KRA PIN, by 30th of June 2023, you are expected by the Republic to file your tax returns for the past 1 year. So what kind of brackets are there in terms of taxes? How are tax deductions made, and how do you effectively remit your tax returns, and also file your tax returns and remit your taxes to ensure that you're on the safe side of especially the Kenya Kwanza government, which is very keen on ensuring they're collecting taxes from every single Kenyan and from every single corner of this republic. I'll be having this discussion this morning with one very interesting gentleman here, and his name is Patrick Maina. He's the CEO and founder of ProMentors Africa, getting us that information on filing taxes and, of course, all matters which regard tax policies. If you have any question with that, it's very important, especially this being the month that you're expected to file your tax returns. This is the moment you should be sending in those questions so that we share them here with our guest of the day. So the stage is set, the players are ready, and the stakes are up. Tell us where you are tuning in from. We'll be going over through this and much more of business stories which are prepared for the day. I'll be giving you information on more guests who are coming through to the show. But get up and work yourself out. Nobody's coming to save you. This is Biashara Tuesday. My name is Richard OKENYE. I'll be the host all the way to the end. Let's enjoy it. What's happening on those roads, current traffic and transport conditions in the city, courtesy of Math Reroute. Thika Road jam hukua hivi morning hours. Yeah, inakuanga hivyo morning hours. Daisy Darian, track ago. At least one or two will be found. Track at ago. At least one or two will be found. Mark my words. Bit confused on what exactly that is referring to, but I'll getting more information from this Ekering who's giving us that update. Traffic Shafika survey. If you're on Thika Road Wewe, that's Way 20 saying it's very packed if you're headed towards town. A very good morning to everyone above ground. If you are on Magadi Road, expect traffic and a stalled bus there at MMU Hill along Magadi Road. There's a bus that has stalled at Pangani Underpass as well, so be on the lookout for that if you're heading towards the sides of Pangani. Jogo Road, not looking good, not looking bad actually, only if you not looking bad if huna haraka. That's the exact phrasing here. So it's not looking bad kama hauna haraka, especially when you're approaching DC on your way to town. So drive safely. If you are on Jogo Road, that's the kind of situation you should be expecting there. Thendegwa to Ngara, so Thendegwa should be Kiambu Road, if I'm not wrong. Thendegwa to Ngara, Ngara to UNEP, kumeshikana sana as well. Is there a way to commute from Thendegwa to UNEP without this traffic? A faster route that you're being offered, alternative route, Thendegwa, Ruaka, UNEP. The fastest way, Thendegwa, Githogoro. Take a motorbike from Githogoro to UNEP. But I'm not going to advise you to take a bike all the way to the gate, maybe somewhere there along the petrol stations. If you are on Mombasa Road, Pia, it's not looking good for you. There is an expectation that the road right below the expressway will be remade as a result of the damage that was done as a result of the expressway. So just hold on a bit more, patience, and then maybe eventually you'll get yourself a very smooth Mombasa Road, which is not necessarily the expressway. If you are in any other parts that's outside Nairobi, we'd love to hear from you. What are the conditions like there? It was a bit foggy in the morning coming into the show, very dark as well, but if the conditions have changed, the sun should be getting out and also shining on the bustling activities across all the capital cities and also across all the counties. If you're outside of Nairobi, please tell us how the traffic is looking like, how the weather conditions are like, and we'll be going on with the show and giving you those updates. But I'll be coming back with more information on the discussions happening here on Biashara Tuesday, so stay tuned. Still staying with us here on Biashara Tuesday. By 2050, it's projected that Africa will have the most significant number of young people aged 18 to 35 globally. So this is a resource that is being tapped by Teach for Kenya, who are now educating fellows to also educate others. To lead is to serve. And this is the message that they're sending at Teach for Kenya. We've had a discussion with some of them before, the kind of projects that they have been doing in the various institutions which they are placed in. And this morning we are also continuing with this conversation. And the main theme is to lead is to serve. I'm sitting down with Magdalene Mweni, who's a fellow at Teach for Kenya, and also Brian Bosire, who's head of recruitment, Teach for Kenya, to give us exactly how the steps are like, or what is the pathway towards ensuring that we're tapping this resource of young people who will be spearheading that conversation, or also spearheading that goal towards educating the whole of Africa through the theme, to lead is to serve. Later, as I told you, we'll be delving into matters of newspaper and the developments of politics with Wakili Robin. He's been here on the show before. He's a legal consultant and also policy analyst, very well versed in these matters of politics, considering the political fever and the economic deliberations which are going to happen in Parliament this morning and throughout the day. It's important that we have here Wakili Robin to tell us exactly what we can expect and how to tame some of our expectations. But before we get into all of those conversations, it is June, the month of filing tax returns. Have you filed yours? Do you know exactly how to do that? Which kind of bracket are you in? What are these tax policies looking like? And we hear a lot about tax evasions. Are there legal means in which you can be tax exempt, and how do you ensure that you're not on the wrong side of the law when it comes to matters of taxes? This is an important discussion that will be happening here just in a short while with Patrick Maina, the CEO and founder of Pro Mentors Africa. Taxes, any question that you have that regards to that, please send it through on our SMS numbers here or on social media channels that I've already given to you. You can tag me on my personal handle at Richard_OKENYE. That conversation on taxes is coming to you. Please don't go far.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
People pass vuguvugu. People pass ni idea.
Sazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, ndio inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni Duniani Leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
TB is a disease that is caused by germs and is spread from one person to another through air. It can affect the lungs and other parts of your body, such as the brain.
So tuberculosis is a chronic infections, airborne disease that is usually caused by a bacteria. It's not a viral disease. It's caused by a bacteria known as Mycobacterium tuberculosis. There are various ways that we use to prevent tuberculosis. You remember the BCG that we all of us have. I think everybody has a BCG scar. And that BCG given to newborns, it's supposed to prevent children when they are very young it's a preventive measure for children against very severe forms of tuberculosis.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Kuruzi ya kilimo huimarisha afya na uchumi endelevu katika jamii. Ni msingi mkubwa wa kipindi Boresha Kilimo. Kipindi hiki kinajikita katika teknolojia ya kisasa, utafiti na ushirikishaji wa wadau wa kilimo kuonyesha shughuli mbalimbali shambani. Kwa suluhu ya utoshelevu wa chakula, tazama Boresha Kilimo.
Karibuni sana to the Church O'Clock Show. I'm your host, Esther Becky.
And my name is DJ Tero.
We start you off with a word of prayer and get you started with a live transformational worship experience. And have our minds renewed by the word of God on the word segment.
And not forgetting new music za hii wiki, yani ndakuwa bado nawapatia pale wasanii wamekuwa kiwakali. So make sure manzo tune in because zitakuwa zina flow pia pale mixes kwa wingi, yani zitakuwa zina come through, and pia performance yani from our gospel artist hapa on Gospel Arts
from 7 to
10 a.m. only on KUTV.
Right, so the deadline for filing the income tax returns for individual taxpayers is the 30th of June every year if you're in Kenya. But if you're in any other country, you can also tell me which dates you get to file your tax returns. There's a very general sense of panic when it's around this time. Have I filed my returns from before? Do I have any penalties? How do I file it? What kind of bracket am I in? And that might create some emotional turmoil, right? And we're also going to address that in this conversation. How are you doing mentally when it comes to taxes? And how should you approach the issue of taxes and filing of tax returns? I'm here with, and I'm very rightfully informed that this is Mike. Is the CEO and founder of Fermenters Africa. Welcome to the show.
Sana Richard.
Very glad to have you.
Me hata mimi nashukuru sana.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy to be here. And especially when I see young people. coming up, presenters, educating the society.
Yeah.
Hiyo ndio swag.
Yes.
Swag sio kutoa suruali na kusag na kuha, swag ni kuelewa knowledge. If knowledge changes you, if you understand what I should do and what I should not do, then you're good to go.
That's true.
Stress inaisha
Kabisa.
Story ya tax nishaelewa tu ni hivi na hivi na hivi. Stress ingine ni adili.
Right.
Na ndio natua.
Introduce to our viewers for the first time, the ones who are seeing you for the first time, and then now we can get to put into context what we are discussing here.
My name is Patrick Maina. Guys who knows me, Mike. I work with the Professional Mentors of Africa as the founder, the CEO. And I believe on mentorship. Believe on journeying with, walking with. By profession, I'm a psychologist by profession. And I've worked with many institutions in this country. Many institutions, even KDF, I worked with them. Just looking about the mindset, how we change our mind, how we look at things differently. When you look at things differently, positively, positive angle, then we move.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the whole thing I do.
All right. There's a very big discussion in the country with matters of taxes, this tax, that tax. Why is it important? Maybe we can start there and then get to know the other issues that are surrounding tax returns and filing of tax returns. Why is it important that we pay taxes and also file tax returns?
Richie,
is this a patriotic activity that we are taking part in, or how do we view it?
Richie, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Civic education is powerful, and that's what you're doing. It's the key, because our good books, spiritual books, one say, my people are perishing because of lack of knowledge. And when you don't have a knowledge, then you complain. When you complain, you start now feeling bad. So performance as a human person goes down. You start now hating everyone, talking bad about the country and your country, talking about, it's all about, I am not ready to learn. I'm not ready to understand what is this and this and this. So tax is very important to understand it. To understand that the country cannot run. We are part of the story. If you're part of the story of Kenya, when you talk about truth, then I should know Kenya operate like how. You're not operating from the moon. Is even other country operating the same.
Right.
So it is very important to know your country and the functionality of your country. It's very important also to know yourself and functionality of yourself. So the same thing. I live in Kenya. There is tax. It is helping me. There are so many services we are getting because of that money. Governors need, there's the issue of governors. We have a president, we have this and this. I took part in that. I know they have to move one point to another one for my sake and my children and my generation.
Right.
So taxes is important.
Right.
It's very important. Even in the Bible, it was there. In the old time, it was there.
People have been paying taxes for eternity.
Umpe Kaisari kilicho chake Kaisari. Na umpe Mungu. Ilikuwa.
Na hii mwezi we are taking our returns. We are filing our returns to call him Kaisari? Giving back to Caesar. Yeah. We're giving a report back to Caesar. And this happens every single year, and I'm sure this is a phenomenon all across the world. How should people approach filing of tax returns?
Number one, we need to know every June lazima turudishe. But also kuna zile per month you're doing your returns by 20th every month if you're in business. Niko kwa biashara nafanya hivi, but at June that first ule ako employed lazima fanya tax or return. The country need accountability need to be seen. Because I'm accountable. I belong to the country. I'm accountable to that country. So whatever nimepata na kila kitu na vitu zote nimefanya kwa biashara, nafaa ni return, ndio even the country that I'm accountable to, they understand where I stand. And they understand also how they will operate the next financial year. Tutaoperataje, hizi zimefanywa, because kuna watu wengine sasa wameignore. So inabidi KRA to take their responsibility to follow might ambaye hajafanya, Richie ambaye hajafanya hivi na hivi na hivi, because kuna watu wanadandia tu. Wanadandia. Na hao kudandia ndio wana make a lot of noise.
Okay.
Unaona? So baada ya kudandia, let me be part of the story. Let me be part of the story. By that first, kuna deadline. In this country, if you don't put, not even this country, anything you're doing, you must have a target, you must have deadlines. So it is not something that is new.
Okay.
It is something that I need to embrace it, and I realize by June 31st I should do this and this.
Right.
The moment I know that one, I will love it.
Right. That's one of those deadlines that people should be aware of. You said there's a monthly as well for businesses and various brackets as well. And then kuna hiyo individual remittance of filing of tax returns at by 30th of June. That's one of those deadlines, right? And how do you see are the mistakes, or maybe some common mistakes that you've seen people make before or during filing of tax returns?
One, mistake ya kwanza ni waiting the last minute.
I'm sure that's happening a lot in this month.
Right now hata zina hang. Si kumaanisha ati we don't have good system. Lakini wewe una imagine I had time to look about nimekaribia, I will do this and this and this and this. But now the biggest mistake that we do, all of us wait for the last minute. So pale hivyo sasa hivi kumejaa hivi. KRA imekuja baka na technologies where you can do it through your phone, through this and this and this, but we are not ready for that.
Right.
Sijui shida ile tuko nayo sisi, mimi kama Mkenya, because I should understand, and I think we should be encouraged more and more to encourage young people, to encourage everybody, every Kenyan citizen, that mazee usingoje last minute, because last minute itakuwai. Ikisha kuwai, what will happen after that? Unakasirika na hiyo gava. Unajam na hiyo gava. Because there are consequences of delaying.
Right.
There are consequences when you don't do it. When there are consequences when you don't meet your target, either positive or negative, they are there. So to avoid those consequences, can I prevent them before ifike hapo?
Okay.
And then especially the biggest consequences when you don't do something, it affects your emotion. It affects the way you look at things. It affects the way when people talk about tax, then you start fighting everybody. Utapiga kila mtu in this country, you start now talking bad.
Right.
That is one of the major consequences.
Not filing on time, and also maybe waiting last minute is one of those common mistakes that people are making. Are there maybe any other that you've observed yourself?
There's also, if you don't file on time, kuna fine. Yeah.
Right.
Two, people not even following the right procedure that KRA have stipulated when you're doing the returns. Is another thing. Sijui ama ni kusoma ama ni shida ama understanding. Sijui nini. And then number two, even if I'm in business, how do I put my record right? Because for me to file, na nimekuwa nikifanya biashara, then I need to put my record vizuri. Nikifika wakati, ndio naona changamoto inakuja wakati wa filing, swali zingine zinakuja pale unachanganikiwa, because if I have put things vizuri, nimefuatanisha vizuri, ikuwa niko kwa biashara, then filing haitakuwa changamoto.
Kweli.
Na ikuwa sielewi, then KRA is doing a lot in educating. A lot is outside there.
Right.
For you to read and to see, niko kwa biashara hii, nitafanyaje? Niko kwa hii, nitafanyaje? Niko employed, self-employed. Niko employed by a certain company. How do I do the returns and everything? So there is a lot of tutorials outside there. There's a lot of knowledge outside there for me to know how do I go about it.
Right, that is true, and there are those very many tax brackets that people should be aware of. As you said, there are businesses, and I just saw that KRA did an audit of Equity Bank themselves. So I realized there's a time that they didn't do the correct filing or the remittances. So it's important that awareness is one of those things that people lack when it comes to filing of tax returns. And there are consequences, there are fines, and Squeezy, the KRA is very stingy, I will say, with giving exemptions, or what do they call it? Reliefs for people who haven't already submitted their taxes from before. But when you talk about consequences, one of those things hiyo ni inasumbua watu kwa akili sana ni when you realize you have a fine, it's 5 years later, and you didn't do due diligence for the past 5 years. How do you think this affects a common mwananchi out here?
Even before I come there, also I think to KRA also, they need to go an extra mile. They are doing good, an extra mile. Why not go to the existing institutions like churches? I don't know whether kwa church yetu mazee tukiletwa mtu wa KRA, because it's patriotism, it's part of us loving our country, various places, na kuelezea tu because it's so friendly. But now what you've brought now on board, the moment you don't do that now, it had the effect. The moment I'm not aware of something, it had the effect.
Okay.
Another the question of the now emotions now. The moment it is like that na nimepigwa fine na maybe nimepata biashara, you don't know about tomorrow. Our God is a living God, you know. Our God uko na company na kuna kitu nafaa kufanya and this na opportunity imekuja. But tax compliant hauna, then unarudi pale kwa mtandao kutafuta tax compliant. Then you don't get it. Na hii ni opportunity umeangukia. What will happen with you? You start now feeling bad. You start now talking bad about the country. You start talking about the leaders who are there. You condemn them. You call them all sort of names. But the mistake was whose? Shida ile tuko nayo, nyani haoni kundule. Na nikiona kundule yangu, if I take my responsibility nione enyewe, if I could have done this before, there are other things ahead of me.
Okay.
Like now for the young people, I work with young people a lot. I tell young people, please understand policies of government. Understand opportunity ambaye ziko. Now one of the things within the government is tax. The moment hutaielewa, utakuwa mtu annoyed, utakuwa mtu akona mahasira, and it narrows down, trickles down. The moment I have gone through an experience of bad experience of taxes, it narrows down to the girlfriend ambaye nakatia. It's narrowed down to my wife. It narrows down to the where you have employed me, and nikifika tu pale, instead of serving people positively, niko na mahasira nimebeba. Sio na mtu amekuja job alafu akona mahasira na shiba nini baya wewe?
Ni tax aja, ni file.
Ni tax ya file. So zile mahasira zikikuja, so you know, inaanza kuku affect.
Right. That's the negative side of it. What is the positive aspect to economic growth and investment in the country?
A lot. One, there's a benefit of you doing more business. That's number one. Because tax compliant tutapata. There's a benefit of our country, because it's not the benefit of the country, it's the benefit of me. There's a benefit of the more I file the tax, nimekuwa kwa profit ama sijakuwa kwa profit, whatever situation is, I'm in a position now, and by doing the returns and putting tax, I'll be in a position to get good health, a good hospitali poa. I'll be in a position to be served well by the leaders ambaye tumechagua, by filing the tax and everything, by paying the tax and kila kitu. I'll be in a position to benefit in so many things, in everything that we need the government to do for us. Because the government, pahali inaweza tu in this country of ours and other countries, is about paying the tax. So the services that we want, the services that I want as a Kenyan, I'll be in a position to receive them, to get them, because I'm part of that government.
Right. KRA has been doing a lot to ensure that tax compliance is happening. There's actually a website where you can tell on your neighbor, yeah, you know, they are not paying taxes, this one, and then you get, I think, some sort of commission for that. But also, you know, availing a digital platform to ensure that it's really easy for you. You don't have to go to a Huduma Center or to KRA's office to, you know, file your returns. How can technology and digital platforms in this way be used to ensure that more citizens are being tax compliant?
I think I'll give credit to KRA. Easy phone tuko nazo, we can do so much without going to Huduma Center. We are so smart on so many programs in our social media. So smart. The same, we have an icon of KRA you can download and everything, and become smart in that KRA, in that issues of tax. So the technology, I think, to me, it's a key component today. I don't have, unakumbuka kitambo, line ile ilikuwa inakuanga pale tau, line imetoka all the way imeenda.
Naweza kosa kukumbuka.
Hey.
Sikuwa nimeanza kufile bado.
Oh, yeah, lie. Them days, mazi, it's line umeipata, mazi, it's too long.
Yeah.
But technology imesaidia hata even some people doing shortcut. Imesaidia even some people will take advantage of people who don't understand. Because ukiwa nayo utajua. Knowledge becomes power.
Right.
Technology imesaidia at your comfort place. You can be in a position to file that tax at your comfort place. Technology imesaidia in even also in the civic education through technology. And some things we have said, it's all over. It's the information is there. So to me, technology is a plus.
Right.
We just need to look of our interest. Many people, what you're interested in is what you go for. When your interest is not based in a certain line, then I'll put it aside.
Right.
I'll not sitashughulika. So hata tukiweka kwa technology, tukiweka kwa app, tuweke wapi, and I'm not interested. Na kwa nikakiliki hivi nika threat already, nakalenga. But it's very important. It's very important.
That people are very aware of, you know, that. And at Pro Mentors, you told me just before you come here that there's an aspect of mentorship to taxes. How do you connect this?
Very important, very important. One, every company, my view, need to journey with the employees. Even a session within a month, just to give them knowledge. Because in this company, mi nakukata as my employee, nakukata. So ukiangalia pay slip yako, unaona tu ulikatwa. Hii walichukua pesa yako, unajua? Na maasira, you see. But if you bring the concept of not rules, not is a must, but the concept of understanding, the mentor, working with your employees, working with the young people, working with anybody who is supposed to do the tax, all of us are supposed to do that. And that's why the concept of mentorship comes in. Because the mentorship ni kutembea na wewe. To work with you, to understand, by the way, if you do this and this and this and this, it's very important. And also showing the people that are surrounding you. Because mentorship, that's all about mentorship. People surrounding you. Umuhimu wa hii na benefit ya hii ni hapa na hapa na hapa. So that's the concept of all mentorship. Then also onesha mtu ambaye mko na yeye, ambaye mnatembea na yeye, whoever the person, muoneshe, if you don't do this, it will lead you to this. It will affect you this way. So that by the word go, I have understand that what it is called tax is not punishment. It is something that it is within me. It's within all of us as Kenyans. So I think, and my feeling, very strong feelings, that we need a lot of mentorship in so many knowledge that are there within our country.
Do you feel like this might, when we are speaking about you know, the emotional turmoil that people get when maybe they are facing fines or they're not generally interested in filing tax returns. Sometimes the reason is that, you know, wananikata pesa yangu na watumii kufanya kitu, right? You know, wananikata pesa yangu na nasikia wanaiba. Do you think mentorship will be a way of shining a positive light?
Bro, absolutely, it will be. It will be.
Okay.
Because the moment nimeelewa pale inaenda, then the avoid words. Sijui inaenda wapi.
Oh, okay.
The moment nimeelewa kwamba unaona kuna barabara ilitengenezwa super highway. The moment nimetembea, labda hujatembea pale nimetembea. Nimetembea a certain way, a certain area. And 5 years of some years ilikuwa mbaya. Right now the road is so smooth. Kweli pesa ilitoka wapi? You get? It's still our money and everything. The moment you walk and you have exchange programs with other people, maybe vijana wa Mombasa wamekam Nairobi, wajaiona barabara kama zile ziko Nairobi, you start now appreciating the country. Umeenda hospitali fulani inakaa namna hii kuliko, you know, then they start now seeing. The moment we have exchange programs, we have issues of sharing ideas, issues of sharing good things within and what our country have done. Then we are in a position to love our country. Then we can now talk about patriotic. We can now talk about najivunia kuwa Mkenya. Si wakati itatokea kwamba nimepigwa fine. Unajua kuna kitu kingine ambaye ni changamoto sana. Ukipigwa fine ya kwanza, unatupa mkono. Unarusha mkono. But you forget the next day itakuja.
Yeah.
So you start piling. I'm telling you. ile hate speech utatoa hii Kenya. Itakuwa mingi. Na ignorance yako tu. It's just yours. So in civic education, it need a lot of a soft landing. A soft way of passing things. Ni kama tu behavior change. A soft way. It's not a command. It's not a punch.
You should feel good to file your tax.
Yeah. Even KRA, can they send even some soft messages? Just to remind us, you know, just to do this and this and this. Soft messages. Even sending the message individually to my mate. Even telling, hey, thank you. last month you did this and this and this, thank you, tunakushukuru. You know, soft message. It's part of mentorship. It's part of working with people. Part of awareness. So that's my take about mentorship.
I have a very critical question to ask you, and this is regards to tax evasion, tax avoidance, and tax exemption. Are there people in our society who don't pay taxes, and are they allowed to not do that? And how maybe can I get myself also not to, or to be on that side where I'm tax exempt? Is that something that individuals get, or how does that happen?
We are all the same. You're all equal. But kati yetu, we cannot be ignorant to realize kuna wengine wako na changamoto kwa maisha. Kuna wengine kwamba ako na changamoto hata ya kutembea. Kuna mwingine ako na changamoto ingine. I can't compare ule mtu ambaye ako na changamoto na mimi. Mimi naweza fanya kazi mingi kuliko ule mtu labda miguu hana. So I think it's right for government kumpa huyo nafasi, labda analeta gari ndio imsaidie, na hiyo gari ni special kwa sababu ataendesha na mikono, ataendesha na miguu. You see, talking to me as a Christian and as a human person, then huyo anafaa kuna pahali utaona enyewe inabidi. So these things are very important to realize that sisi wote tuko the same. Tuko na changamoto tofauti. And that's why unakuta KRA wanaangalianga such cases. Ama labda kuna kitu ulifanya na after kuassess that thing, wanaona no. Ulisaidia hivi na hivi na hivi. Ama ile pesa ulipata kwa hivi na hivi na hivi. And they assess it and they see ilisaidia somewhere else. Then we have very smart people within KRA to analyze such cases and put you
into that bracket.
In that bracket. But sasa mimi nikiwa nje naangalia kweli kuna Mkenya kuliko ule mwingine. It's all about knowledge. It's all about awareness.
Okay, as you said in the beginning, really, yeah. You know, people should be aware ndio ma feelings ziweze kuondoka.
Tuweke ma feelings kando. Ndio tu appreciate.
All right.
Because ule mtu KRA akikuja kuelezea watu tulifanya hivi because of this, au explainie hata utafeel.
All right. You've been doing a lot of this mentorship. Let's talk about pro-mentors a little bit. Where and how so far you've been?
We've been doing mentorship not for long. This is the 28th year doing mentorship in this country.
28th year. That's not so long.
And
okay.
I found myself started mentorship because of how I've grown up. I've grown up, even my father, a very good, handsome man, used to tell me, you're stupid like your mother. And I didn't know as a boy child, it used to affect me the way I reason and the way I look at things. I didn't know it to affect me even academically. I didn't know it to affect me even relational-wise. But I thought in kawaida, nimezaliwa dando, mimi msewa ghetto. And then the upbringing was a challenge. So that's where I started, and I found one person, a spiritual person called Father James Brasser, who walked with me with the trauma that I was going. And then I came to realize we are so many of us going this. So from there I started. In fact, one of the training we did is near high school. Those years when they banned the boys, those years. And I was called there because the police were to do their due diligence, but also we were to look at the psychosocial part of it. How is this? These are our boys, these are our friends, and how do we relate? So we have been doing mentorship for many years, many schools, even in KU, many colleges. And the mentorship we are doing is working with the young people. Working with the young people so that they can even see far than where I am.
Right.
So those are the mentorship. Also, we've been doing mentorship in corporates. Because the moment you are stressed at home, mental health, performance at work will go down.
Right.
So those are the type of mentorship we have done. The other time we did a mentorship for KDF, DEFCO, Defense Forces Canteen, because these are civilians working within military grounds. And the military have their own software, how they've been brought up with those things. So you need to understand, this is this component and this is component. How do I synergize them? And we work in a harmonious way.
Okay.
If I don't understand, we are scared you see, you start now fighting. So we did a training for the whole country, and it was very successful.
Okay.
And we are doing to other various corporates,
Right.
so that performance can go high.
Speaking of corporates and business, young people, as the ones you say you are walking this journey with, are aspiring entrepreneurs. And maybe someone watching you as an aspiring entrepreneur, is there a way that Pro Mentors can help them navigate the complexities of tax compliance and also maximize the benefits of being tax compliant?
Truly. In fact, most of the guys I have in my office and everything are those who are past are KU students, and I've worked with them a lot. And one thing, in mentorship, we have even about business, topics on business and everything. And when you're talking about topic of business, even in school, even in churches, like we are working with the Catholic Church, the whole country. Weekend I was with the chairman KCCB, Bishop Kivuva, and we were just discussing about how do we get into the young people to educate them. So using such forums, it is helping us to help the young people to be aware and to pass this message of taxes and other things and mental health, so that they can be sober people, so that they can love their country, because hatuami. So those are the avenue we've been using.
Interesting, because
right now we have developed a module, mentorship modules, which will be running in Mombasa Diocese. Mombasa Diocese, in the structure of Catholics, it's composed of 4 counties. And we have other modules that we are putting in the universities. Not examinable. Examinable is based on individual concept, how to avoid those issues of young people killing each other. Not only young people, even people doing things that are not understandable. So those are the things we are doing within the country.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much, Patrick Maina, for that. And if you want to reach out to Pro Mentors...
Pro Mentors Africa, if you want to reach out to Pro Mentors Africa, is Might Live. If you look at Might Live, you'll get, or 0706 0706 42 and 10 at the end. That will get us in our offices, and we'll be in a position to work with you. And I welcome young people, because there's a lot of things we're doing there. We need young people, and I say young people a lot, because youth to youth mentorship is more powerful than umeleta mzai kama mimi wa 70 years kubonga na vijana wanashindwa yana tushone nini. So I'm so much on
peer to peer,
forming young people, so that we can pass the message of mentorship to them.
Right.
Yeah.
I just want you to
based in Kahawa West, our offices.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where we are based, and we are available at all time.
Okay. Last month was mental health awareness, and this month is tax returns month. And you know, I've seen a very nice way in which you've related the issues of the mind, and you know, how people view taxes, you know, and their position in society. Maybe just a last remark on, you know, ensuring that watu hawana hasira as they head out to file their returns this month.
Guys, I will tell you, please be aware, tax is part of our story. Kenyans, tax is part of our story. Learn about it, understand it, and you'll avoid unnecessary stress. You'll avoid condemning your own country and your own leaders. So just be aware of that one. Go Google, do research, understand it. It's so easy. It's very easy. So please understand it and become Kenyans. And we love our Kenya. And Kenya is the place to be. Atuhami.
Right. That's Mike Live on Twitter, who has joined us this morning to speak about taxes. He is the CEO and founder of Pro Mentors Africa. You can reach out to him, the numbers that have already been provided, but also check them out on their physical office in Kahawa West. That's Kiambu County, right? Yeah. Yes. Thank you very much for having this with us.
Thank you very much.
All right. I'll be back in a short while to take a look at much more stories of business this morning on Biashara Tuesday. Keep tweeting, keep sending us your conversations and feedback on the SMS/WhatsApp numbers. We'll be right back.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
People pass vuguvugu. People pa ni idea.
Sazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, ndio inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
We are all seeing the impacts of climate change. In Kenya, for example, the frequency of the floods is becoming more and worse. The amount of people and livestock we're losing.
The level we need to go is a level where the normal mwananchi and also the government stakeholders can uptake these solutions.
Those small acts multiplied by millions of us will help make a difference in the world at the end of the day.
It's just a slight behavior change that we need, and you find that it serves us a bit more than you put in, and that's the goal. We want to live a better world than we found, because at the rate we are going, it's dire.
We will secure the planet for future generations.
Access to knowledge. Solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Kipindi hewani ni mitindo ya kipwani. Kama ilivyo kipindi hiki kinahusu nyimbo za tarab, chakacha, midwara, midundiko, bila kusahau mapishi. Ambao ndio uti wa mgongo wa pwani ya Afrika Mashariki.
Jamani, swahibu zangu mliopo maskani, hatuonani wenzangu, najua mwanitamani.
Hapa KUTV, nahodha mwendesha chombo cha baharini, yani ua linalonukia na kuvutia waridi tamu.
Hello everybody! I'm Nana. And I'm Gigi. Welcome to Engine Season 2. The place to find out about the world we live in and the creatures that we share our planet with. Join us on the most exciting adventures across the African
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepo pasi vuguvugu, pepo pani idea.
Sazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, ndio inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Access to knowledge. Solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
To lead is to serve, and that's why I serve myself breakfast every morning so I can lead my way into the day. Jokes. Thank you for staying here with us on Biashara Tuesday. Please tell us where you're watching us from on all our social platforms. We are live as well on YouTube, KUTV Kenya Live. You can follow through the stream. If you're getting out of the house and going to other businesses, don't forget to leave us a message. And speaking of messages, let me just maybe give a shout out real quick before I can tell you what conversation we're having next, which is on to lead is to serve. On Twitter, I see Jos, I see Atsi Ateta from the University of Nairobi, certified Chelsea Queen as well here, and there's Satoni from Juja. Thank you for tuning. Mike was just on air as well. Pichi Meninges, that is Chenwach, watching us from Isiolo, and at work, watching us from work. Thank you very much. Ashley Asachi, She's saying that good morning to you, OKENYE. I am tuned in to the show this morning from Daystar University. I'm loving the conversation that we just had, of course, there with Patrick Maina, who's the CEO and founder of Pro Mentors, which is offering mentorship programs in very many aspects, including tax compliance. And the conversation we had here this morning is to ensure that you're tax compliant, this being the month that individual tax returns are supposed to be filed. By the 30th of June, you should be tax compliant or face those fines, and it's going to affect your mentor, according to Mike. If you don't want that to happen, reach out to him and get to know how to navigate that and many other issues. Here with me this morning, I have two interesting guests. One is a teaching fellow at Teach for Kenya, and the other is not a fellow, but will be telling us what exactly the role he has over at Teach for Kenya. We've had the conversation before with two other teachers who have been posted at various institutions, doing very amazing projects, leading young people into the future, but also serving so they can create that, of course, leadership in them. So that I don't get ahead of myself, let me just welcome them, and then we can get to hear more about Teach for Kenya. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having
Please introduce yourself, and then we can get to this discussion.
My name is Magdalene Mweni Mwalali. I am currently a fellow at Teach for Kenya and a law graduate. Yes.
All right. You are a lawyer by training.
Yes, I
okay.
am.
And a teacher by choice.
Yes. Teacher leader. Yes.
Okay. Brian.
Hi, my name is Brian Bosire. I'm the head of recruitment here at Teach for Kenya.
All right. They say that or Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful tool that we can use to change the world. How do I make sense of that statement? I can maybe begin with you, Brian.
Oh, thank you. How we can make sense of this statement is because education is the greatest equalizer. It makes the peasant have access, to opportunities that otherwise they will not be able to have access to. So the reason why we at Teach for Kenya, we advocate to lead is to serve, is because we believe in empowering the next generation. We live in a world where we're constantly facing change and many challenges. And the reason why we exist as an organization, we believe that for us to be able to effectively prepare the next generation, then we need to be able to cultivate leadership aspects so that they can be champions in and of themselves to be able to lead a future or to path their own future of success.
Right. Magdalene.
Yes.
You were supposed to be a lawyer, supposed to be in a law firm somewhere, but now you are a fellow at Teach for Kenya. Why that choice?
Thank you for that question. Why that choice? Because I was largely driven by a need to give back to the society. I was coming from a point of gratitude for the gift of getting quality education. And given that the dream of Teach for Kenya is to ensure that even children in underprivileged communities get quality education, I deeply resonated with that. And yes, I was willing to commit myself to realize that dream for every child in Kenya.
How long has it been for you at Teach for Kenya?
I am a cohort 3 fellow, so I was posted at the beginning of this year.
Okay.
Yes.
6 months in. I think that's a significant amount of time for me to ask you the question that I had, which is, what are these obstacles maybe that you've got to notice that are preventing many or some of the children from accessing quality education in Kenya?
There are various factors ranging from socioeconomic to, the economic largely, I would describe it as such. Most of these children come from underprivileged societies. They're not able to afford quality because you get that education is quite expensive, sometimes quality education at least, and most of these schools are under-resourced in that they don't have quality resources to address that challenge. Another factor would be lack of positive role models in the society, because essentially we are placed in communities that are considered slums, if I may call them. Like you get that they are not exposed to people who have actually thrived out here most of the time.
Success stories are not common.
They are not common in those areas. So I feel like for us fellows who have actually gone through the education system, graduated, and I feel like that's a very big motivating factor to these young ones, in that I feel like you cannot go beyond what you have experienced. It's hard to, resonate with something that you have not actually seen. So for us, being there with them and actually journeying with them, and they see what we are doing, and I feel like we impact them even through our stories.
Right.
Yes.
Brian, Kenya and Africa at large is projected to have a very large population of young people, and globally, this is going to be the highest number of young people by 2050, right? And you, as sitting there on the recruitment seat to teach for Kenya, how are you leveraging this, or how you plan to leverage this young population to ensure that we are getting quality education accessible to all the children in Kenya?
Thank you so much for that question. As you truly said, it's true that by 2035, Africa at large will be having at around 1 billion young people. And as you already know, young people in our country especially, there's a lot of job insecurity, and we need to be able to mitigate some of these things that are leading to this job insecurity, or the challenges that the young people are facing. So as the Teach for Kenya, as the head of recruitment, one of the things that we do is we call ourselves as a leadership development program. So we recruit recent graduates for a 2-year paid fellowship program that gives them an opportunity to serve their community in a meaningful and impactful way as they hone their leadership skills. We believe in the aspect of collective leadership as one of the solutions that can be used to mitigate some of these challenges. Because once we recruit someone like Magdalene here, for example, who is a lawyer, we recruit from a multidisciplinary background. So we not only recruit teachers, we recruit people who have a background in law, for example. We recruit someone who has a background in engineering, for example. We recruit someone who has a background in studying environmental science, and we put them in the classroom because we believe in teaching as one of the best models ever that you can use to hone your leadership skills. Some of the greatest leaders in the world, like for example, the founder of Alibaba, Jack Ma, was a teacher, for example. Our second president, Moi, was a teacher, for example. 3 wives of the first ladies in the country, like Margaret Kenyatta, the current wife to our president, William Ruto, was a teacher. So we believe in teaching as one of the models that we can use to cultivate and hone leadership skills in the young people. And the reason why we choose this as the model is because we believe once we empower a young person to become a leader in and of themselves, then they'll be able to create solutions to mitigate some of the challenges that are influencing or they'll be able to create some of the solutions to mitigate the barriers that are hindering Kenyan children from having access to quality education.
All right. Speaking of empowerment, what kind of training and support do you offer Magdalene and the other fellows who are in this 2-year program?
So some of the training that you're able to offer them is one, for example, right now we're in our recruitment season and we're recruiting for next year. So the recruitment process will run from the month, it started in June, it will run up to July. And then in the month of in the month of August, we'll give them offers. The month of September and October, we take them through something it's called matriculation. So this is an opportunity for them to get to know more about us and get to be immersed in the community and get to learn what are some of the challenges that they face. So once they accept our offer in the month of November and December, we take them through something called a Summer Institute training, which is a 6-week capacity building training that equips them with the skills and the know-how that they need so that they can be able to serve in the community. During the Summer Institute training, they get to be trained on things like emotional intelligence. As you realize, some of the children that they get to work with come to class with a lot of emotional baggage. So we empower them on skills on how can they be able to handle when a child comes, for example, and tells them, my dad was beating my mom and I was able to see. So how are you able to handle such a situation? We take them on leadership lessons, for example. We empower them on how can they be leaders in and of themselves, and also how can they be able to teach, to train the young children to also become leaders and of themselves. We also take them on lessons such as, because our focus is on 3 things, improving on literacy, numeracy, and science skills. So we also empower them. How can they be able to equip some of these skills to the young children? So those are academic. We also empower them on non-academic outcomes because we want our children to become confident. We want our children to become, great communicators. We want our children to become critical thinkers. So we also empower them with some of these skills so that they can be able to empower them and transfer them to the children in the classroom.
Magdalene, how has been your experience so far?
I would describe my experience as a joyful ride so far. It's very rewarding to just give of yourself and your skills, your knowledge, your time. It's really beautiful to be part of a journey and, to create impact in these little children. So I would briefly describe it as rewarding.
You said that, recruitment is done on a multidisciplinary background, yeah? So you're a lawyer, there's an engineer. Last time I was sitting here with someone who was a fellow, or still is, I'm guessing still, right? With a background in, I think, environmental science. And they were telling me about their project in helping these young children take care of the environment and, using some of those skills that they learned at school and translating them to this classroom, still with the syllabus that's offered. Is there a way that you've brought law into the classroom, or are there some lessons maybe you've picked that you've been able to impact in the children?
Yes, I would say I'm making strides towards the why I got into the fellowship in the first place. Okay. So I'm in the establishing phase because there is a big problem, especially with numeracy and literacy. So I've incorporated some action steps in my class, and I've seen progress so far. So good. Okay. Yes.
How do you ensure that this? You've mentioned a lot of training that happens and support in this 2-year period, but how do you ensure that these people from a multidisciplinary and diverse academic backgrounds are still able to shift their mindset to become teachers? We're told that there's different attitudes when it comes to different professions. Engineers maybe a bit reserved. There are those who are out there. Is this also something that you get to think about as you prepare them to join the fellowship?
Yeah, of course. In our country, sorry to say, teaching is one of the courses where people normally don't choose to become teachers. Like growing up, we normally wanted to become pilots or aeronautical engineering, but depending with how KCSE went for you, that's when you find yourself choosing, even this one can be done, isn't it? But then we believe that teaching is one of the noble professions ever because you get to deal with young people. So from the word go, we try and encourage and also share with you, what are some of the benefits of transforming these young people? Because teachers in our country spend the most time with the kids. I'll tell you for sure, like in some of the communities where we work with, the parents are dependent on, their day's income to survive. So you'll find that the child will be dropped in school at 6, and the parent will come later on in the evening at 6 or even later on. And the teacher is the one who gets to spend the most of the time with these kids. And it gives them an opportunity to shape the future of these kids and determine. So we impress to them what are some of the benefits that accrue, by spending time with these kids and by transforming them. So we try to shape them. The other thing that we do, because that we said we recruit from a multidisciplinary approach, is we have coaches. So each fellow is assigned a coach. So beyond the 6 weeks, we believe that is not enough for you to be able to train. So you have coaches who come to visit you in your schools and give you any support that you may need so that you can be able to excel. Also, every month, you also have continuous professional development programs that continuously equip you and empower you so that you can be able to deliver effectively as a teacher leader in the community.
Do you get to collaborate with local communities as well in addressing inequality?
Yes. So this is how our fellowship program is structured. So in their first year, you're supposed to understand what are some of these challenges that are facing these children that are limiting them from accessing quality education. So you're trying to understand what are these barriers that are existing. So in your second year, you are supposed to do a capstone project. So the capstone project is supposed to mitigate some of these challenges. I'll give you an example of one of our alumni who was able to do a community project, for example. He realized that some of the things that make their children not attend to school is because there's a lot of drug abuse in the community and people are not able to do the same. So he was able to do in their second year's capstone project was to be able to create a team So this is not necessarily of students in his classroom, but was able to create a team in Mukuru Kwanjenga where he will invite youths and they'll be able to organize tournaments and they play together. And then when they were playing, he will be able to champion and create awareness on drug awareness. Another person realized that gender-based violence is something that is in the community and it's affecting the children. So they were able to organize a walk in the community where they walked and, with their mouth sealed, creating awareness about, ending GBV and advocating for the equal rights for the girl child. So we were able to work with the community. So depending also with your background, so we will be able to involve the community because our program is geared to making long-term sustainable projects that can help end education inequality.
Magdalene, do you believe we'll get to that very optimistic view that will end education inequality?
I believe so because once you recognize there's a problem in the society, action has to start somewhere. We can't just sit and watch. And I love that TFK saw that and they are taking steps to address that challenge. So I believe we'll get there slowly but surely.
All right.
Yes.
You being the latest cohort, maybe I'll take this chance to ask you to tell us the application process for someone who wants to be in the seat that you are in right now as a teacher. How should they approach it? How did you approach it?
First of all, you have to be on the lookout on their social media platforms. The postings are done. Like right now, the recruitment is open for cohort 4. You make your application, then you'll receive communication on whether you'll proceed to the next stage. So there's a process of writing essays. Then you pass that, and then you now qualify for the interview session.
All right.
Yes.
Brian, how long does this process take, the application process? There are fees, and what should people be waiting for as someone who's heading that recruitment?
Yeah, so the application process roughly takes around 2 months until you are given the offer letter. So the first stage is eligibility. So we recruit recent graduates. So a minimum qualification is you must be a graduate. But we also give room for students who are in their final year of studies and they hope to have graduated by December. Those can apply. And then we're also recruiting for people who are under the age of 35, and we're also recruiting Kenyan citizens because we believe we can solve our own problems. So those are the eligibility. So the first stage is once you go to our website, that is www.teachforkenya.org, you will see a tab written fellowship. You can click on Become a Fellow. So once you click on the tab Become a Fellow, it's already written there, the eligibility. So if you meet the eligibility criteria, you fill in your data. It can take you roughly like 2 minutes to fill in the data. So the recruitment team will go through the eligibility. If you meet the eligibility, in a week's time tops, they'll be able to invite you to submit your essays. So the essay is basically focused on leadership and also your passion. Why do you want to join with us? Do you have the passion to work with children? So you get to express yourself through the essays. Then the essays are reviewed, and if you meet our competencies and you feel that you're fit, then you're invited to a half-day-long interview. So the half-day-long interview involves things like mock teaching, because you'll be spending a lot of time in the classroom. Want to see, so you'll be given time to prepare a lesson for like 5 minutes, so you'll be able to deliver that, and then we'll do a group activity because we believe a lot in teamwork, and then we'll have another one-on-one interview to get to interact with us and share with us why do you want to join this program, how can this program also be of benefit to you as an individual. Once you go through that, then you get the offer letter. So the offer letter, you'll have a month to decide. That is how the application process is. So this will run up to July. In the month of August, you get an offer letter. But then you see, we normally say that Teach for Kenya, the application process is for us to know you.
Okay.
So in the month of September and October, we do something called matriculation that gives you an opportunity to know more about us.
All right.
So we invite fellows to share with you the experience. We take you to the community to see, because it's not easy to work in the slum for a period of 2 years. So you also get to choose, is this something that you want to commit for the next 2 years? And then after that, then that's when we invite you to the Summer Institute training that starts in November and December. Then in the last 2 weeks, we invite you to relocate. So right now, we are looking for 100 graduates or 100 recent young people who are passionate about becoming change agents in the country. And we'll be focused in Nairobi, Machakos, and Kisumu. Those are the 3
this is not just in Nairobi.
Yeah, this is not just in Nairobi.
Okay.
So we're expanding. Right now, we're in Nairobi and Kisumu. We're in 25 partner schools. But now we'll be moving forward and we'll be expanding to Machakos.
All right. To lead is to serve. So I'm trying to get 2 angles of this from both of you. One is, what does to lead is to serve mean to you, and what will it mean to the kids you're trying to offer quality education to? I don't know who wants to take it first. Magdalene?
I can take it first.
Right.
I I would start by saying that there is no leadership without service, according to me. Because for you to be a good leader, I feel like you need to set a pace, you need to set a trend and actually get yourself to the ground and hit the ground running. For an example is the fellowship journey that we are undertaking. You know, we hear of these education inequalities out here, but it actually takes you getting to this community for you to understand what really is
that
going
it's not
on
a
here.
buzzword.
Yes. So I would just say that there is no leadership without service.
Right.
Yes.
Brian?
For me, I'll say to lead is to serve is studying the angle that, leaders can lead from the front, but great leaders lead together with the people. So this is also being in the ground and being able to create the change that you envision. Not only just wishing, that change could happen, but also being part of the process that wants to see the change happen in your time. Most of the times growing up, we are so quick to blame the government or other institutions. Why is the government not doing this? Or why is, the Ministry of Education not doing A, B, C, and D? But I came to realize that sometimes it is in the smallest of things that we create the biggest of impact. And so to lead to serve is being able to create change within where you are in the smallest of things. And that's why we task our fellows to do a capstone project. Before we could say, for example, maybe one of the schools that we are having is right now there's a challenge in the junior secondary schools. They do not have enough facilities. We may not be able to create laboratories for them. We may not be able to do the bigger or gigantic projects that we need. But that doesn't necessarily mean there's nothing that we can be able to do. I'll give this example of one of our fellow, for example, who her name is John Muir, together with Rachel Vishay. This is the project that they were able to do. So they were placed in Mukuru Kwanjenga Primary School. And in this school, they noticed that when it rains, because it is in a valley, a lot of water comes to the school. And the girl children are affected a lot in terms of being able to use the latrines. So they were able to do a fundraise, and their capstone project was to build 2 toilets. But because of that initiative to build 2 toilets, it reached a point where they were stuck. But Earthy Waters, shout out to you Earthy Waters guys, they were able to notice their work, and because of that work they were able to build 12 new other toilets and complete that project that they had. So if you go to Mukuru Kwanjenga today, there are 14 new toilets. And this was started because of 2 people. So we may not be able to create more, but we can create 2.
Right.
And that is the thing that I'm saying to lead is to serve. To lead is to serve is being able to create those small ripples. It is those small ripples that are able to create bigger waves. So if you're able to create change from wherever you are, whether you're able to join Teach for Kenya Fellowship or not, are you able to create change? What is that one thing that you can do? Can you advocate for change? Can you talk to the parent? What is that one thing that you can do? And that goes a long way in creating change and helping us achieve our vision that one day every Kenyan child will have access to quality education regardless of their socio-economic background.
Right. I feel like posing for that to, sink in, but because we're on a TV show, just going to continue and try and wrap up here. Teach for Kenya is doing something really amazing, and I'm actually quite impressed by, the success stories I get to hear here from last time's conversation and even now. Hopefully, you've already started thinking about your capstone project. Okay.
Yes.
Looking forward to hear it in your second year and see what exactly it is that you will be implementing. Maybe to wrap up, guys, I'll start with you, Magdalene. Just an appeal to, guys who are out there might be passionate and want to join Teach for Kenya. Maybe, a call to action to them to feel enticed to send in that application.
Hello. I would encourage anyone who is interested in leading in service. Teach for Kenya is the right place for you to be. You're creating impact, and you'll be part of a child's life, which is actually a great thing. So I invite all applications, and you'll not regret this choice. Yes.
Right. As for you, Brian, as you also try and entice people to join Teach for Kenya and to make those applications, maybe also do tell us the maybe future goals that you've seen. What direction is Teach for Kenya could be headed towards in the future? If that's not yet thought, it's also allowed.
Yeah, so in the next 5 or 10 years, we envision a country where we'll be able to have Teach for Kenya in all the 47 counties. Right now, we are in 3 counties. We hope to create an opportunity. Like, for example, if you go to countries like Ghana, for example, or Nigeria, young people, it's mandatory by the government. They take a leap year, after graduate school or after Form 4, where they get to serve their community and give back to their community. It's what in our country we call NYS. So I envision a world where young people will be more than passionate to help the next generation, become better, or being able to stand in and of themselves. So that is the thing that I envision. My parting short words will be 3 things. One, serve your community, lead with confidence, and empower the next generation. If this is something that appeals to you, then loop on into this opportunity and apply for the Teach for Kenya Fellowship 2024-2025 cohort.
Right, that's Brian Bosire. He is the head of recruitment, Teach for Kenya, accompanied by Magdalene Mweni, who is a fellow, Teach for Kenya, in the 3rd cohort. The 4th is open, and you can get to join this fellowship, which is giving young people the opportunity to create an impact in the communities they're in, hone their leadership skills, and also create a career out of it. So this is exciting for you. If you feel this is exciting for you, don't fail to check out the details on how you can send in your applications, and also their social media accounts where you can keep tabs on any developments which are happening with Teach for Kenya. Asante sana guys, and very commendable job in what you're doing for Teach for Kenya. I am hoping that, outside of my schedule with work, someday, maybe even if it's for just a week, I can come through and see something that's happening at Teach for Kenya, and maybe, who knows, could be the next teacher and future president, right? All right, let's go for that short break on Biashara Tuesday. I'll be back for your feedback and much more business. Don't stay out of tune.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audio-visual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739 110 544. KUTV, a new experience.
Technology, science, innovation, ICT, and research. These are the ingredients upon which the solutions to the 21st century problems are founded. In a world that is rapidly changing, it's all hands on deck to ensure a balance in all fields of life. Women, young and old, are also in the front line, breaking the glass ceiling, becoming thought leaders in the larger tech space. Not forgetting other societies marginalized. And when the tech Avengers come together, we inch closer to a much safer, efficient, and sustainable world. What we view as a norm in today's advanced world was just an idea, and for nostalgic reasons, we trace back to the iconic days to bring you the retro tech. On Technovation Show, we encapsulate all the pillars of the 4th Industrial Revolution, decoded in a language, all for one for all. Every Monday at 8:30 as we push the mantra, keep learning something new each and every day. Only on KUTV, a new experience.
sugri wagri, den den den.
Baada ya kutafuta kazi, tunaweza kuanzisha miradi yetu ambayo ingetusaidia kubadilisha maisha ya wazazi wetu.
Kwa vijana wenzangu, wengi hawana kazi, lakini ikiwa sisi wenyewe tutajiamini, tunaweza kujiajiri wenyewe.
Afrika kwa kweli tuna mahitaji ambayo ukiyasuluhisha unaweza kuathiri watu kwenye bara hili
bila woga. Watu huwa na uzalishaji zaidi, wanajawa na ujasiri, wanakuwa wabunifu na wanakuwa wenye maarifa.
Niliamua kuacha kazi. Hata kama sitafanikiwa, nitakuwa nimejaribu, nitakuwa najua haiwezekani.
Hakuna kitu cha ajabu hapa. Kila anayepata ufanisi hufanya kazi usiku na mchana.
Kitu kitakusukuma na kuwezesha kupata maarifa ambayo hukuwa nayo.
Tunajaribu kutengeneza kitu kitakachopita mipaka ya nchi hii.
Ikiwa unataka kubadilisha ulimwengu, anza na nyumbani.
Am I happy that you're still staying tuned? But if you're joining us for the first time also, please inform us on our social channels. We'd love to speak back to you and interact with you on our live stream, KUTV Kenya, on YouTube. We have been conversing since 7 in the morning. I started off with the Finance Bill of 2023, introducing you to what you can expect today as members of Parliament come back from a 30-day recess to discuss very pertinent matters. One, being the Finance Bill of 2023. Two, being the appointment of DPP Nordin Haji as the next NIS Director General, and a host of other issues which are prepared today. But the Finance Bill of 2023 is the bone of contention across the political divide. The opposition is whipping up support to oppose it, and the government is very strict and has issued marching orders to its members of Parliament to ensure that that bill sees the light of day. If it does see the light of day, as from July of 2023, expect your pay slip to be affected, and if you're a business person, your returns are definitely going to suffer. The Standard calls it MPs under siege. Parliament resumes today to a season that will test their nerves. The executive has bullishly asserted that the MPs will do as they say, while wananchi feel the MPs can rescue them from this legislation. The question I'm asking to you, is this the legislature being arm-twisted by the executive, or is this just one arm of the government giving up power to another arm of the government? Think about it. We'll be back to do a rundown of what is there on the dailies. But earlier on, we had a discussion with Teach for Kenya fellows and the head of recruitment there. As we grapple with so many issues in the Republic, we can't continue blaming the government. We take up the solution ourselves. Young people are being invited to make applications to Teach for Kenya. It's a paid 2-year program where you get to be posted to underprivileged communities to ensure that top quality education is also accessible to those with very limited socio-economic backgrounds. Try them out, Teach for Kenya, on their website and social media as well, and then you can tell us how that went. Earlier, speaking about taxes, the finance bill is full of taxes that are going to be implemented to digital content creators, to business people, to employed salaried people. If we're talking about the housing levy, the 3% housing levy, which is in part of this proposal. So this month is the last month that you'll be able to file your returns without all these taxes. By 30th of June of 2023, you should have already sent in, or you should have already filed your tax returns for the last 1 year. Please do that. The deadline is fast approaching. And as we had spoken earlier with Patrick Maina, who is the CEO and founder of Pro Mentorship, mentorship is important for you to be aware of what is happening in society so that, not so much anger arises out of the economic turmoil that is there within the Kenyan society. So think about that as I go for this break, and then give you some news updates that have been there since yesterday night to this morning, and then continue with Biashara Tuesday. Don't go far.
Joyous Beats.
Right. Now, Kenya has joined the rest of the world in celebrating World Environment Day 2023. The national celebrations for their environmental awareness and protection outreach were held in Nakuru National Park in a green event presided over by Environment CS Soipan Tuya. The 50th anniversary calls for collective efforts in overcoming the ravaging effects of plastic pollution. Joseph Oyomo has this report.
World Environment Day is an annual global event celebrated every 5th June to raise awareness and encourage action for the protection of the environment. This year marked the 50th anniversary of the celebrations, with attention focused on plastic pollution. The 2023 World Environment Day theme is Solutions to Plastic Pollution. The national celebrations were held in Nakuru National Park in Nakuru County. The celebrations began with the procession snaking through the streets of Nakuru City from the office of the governor to Lake Nakuru National Park. The green event was presided over by the CS for the Environment, Climate Change and Forestry, Honorable Soipan Tuya, who insisted on the need to preserve the environment through managing plastics and other wastes.
So whereas as part of the World Environment Day's commemoration, we aim to do a number of things, including taking stock of the country's road to tackling plastic pollution, showcasing available solutions to plastic pollution, creating a platform for public education and awareness on the ban on plastics, creating awareness on the need to reduce all forms of environmental pollution, elevating as a priority the environmental agenda in the country.
The area governor Susan Kihika led the team in tree planting as part of the efforts to protect and care for the environment, before interacting with various initiatives on plastic recycling actions.
Over the past few years, the water level in the lake has been rising due to high siltation and pollution due to solid wastes and effluent from the city. In short, the balance of life at this park, just like many in the world, has been altered by human activities.
According to the United Nations Environment Programme, less than 10% of the plastics used around the world is recycled. 12 million tons of plastics are poured into the ocean every year, and a plastic takes more than 450 years to decompose. In its effort to support the environment, the government resorted to a 15 billion tree campaign, which aims to increase Kenya's tree cover from current 12.3% to 30% by 2032. Other dignitaries who graced the event were Environment and Climate Change PS Engineer Festus Ngeno, Forestry PS Mugambi Gitonga, NEMA Board Chairman Emilio Mugo, Nakuru County Governor Susan Kihika, among others. Joseph Oyomo, KUTV.
Following on that World Environment Day, the standard this morning is have a full spread, page 4 and page 5 on World Environment Day. One of them is that Nairobi County government is going to employ 3,000 youth to do cleaning in the drainage and also clean the environment. So this is a job opportunity for 3,000 youth who are going to help in cleaning the neighborhoods. But top there is a very controversial story, and this is on the eucalyptus tree. So Imenti Central Member of Parliament, that is Moses Kirima, in April tabled a motion in Parliament to ask the government to ban the planting of eucalyptus tree. The feeling is that eucalyptus tree is taking up a lot of water, and this might be very detrimental to environment in the next few years. So what are the facts and what are the fictions? You can read page 4 to know that. One thing that is a fact, though, is that eucalyptus consumes more water than any other tree species grown in Kenya. So for instance, one of them consumes 2,526 liters of water per year. That is one eucalyptus tree. But that fact is misrepresented. Eucalyptus tree is also the most water efficient tree that is available in Kenya. To learn more, please do read page 4 and page 5 of the standard. That is as that according to the World Environmental Day. We switch back to the interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki, who yesterday commissioned the launch of Police Divisional Headquarters and Police Post in Bundanyi, Taita Taveta County. Kindiki has urged police officers to maintain a good relationship with Kenyans, as well as urging Kenyans from all over the country to turn up in large numbers and submit their contributions to the Presidential Task Force, which established to review the legal and regulatory framework governing religious organizations.
Police officers have been urged to maintain good relationship with citizens during the launch of Police Divisional Headquarters and Police Post commissioned by Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kindiki in Wundanyi, Taita Taveta County.
Wananchi wengi bado imani yao kwetu sisi maofisa wa usalama, bado imani ya wananchi iko chini. Kwa hivyo hatuna budi, lazima tujizatiti kurejesha uhusiano mwema wa kati yetu na wananchi.
Kindiki has also urged police officers to avoid taking bribes or face the law. He has called it an action that drags Kenya behind.
And I have spoken very strongly. The culture of corruption, taking money from the public in form of bribes, that culture must come to an end. Hii mambo ndio imetuletea hasara kama nchi. Paka unaona tumepata laana hapa kwa sababu sisi ambao tuko kwa vyeo tumetumia vyeo vyetu kunyanyasa wanyonge. Utosheke na mshahara wako.
Kenyans are however urged to turn out in numbers and submit their views to the Presidential Task Force that was assigned the task to review the legal and regulatory framework governing religious organizations. Kindiki, however, says that there is no turning back in the quest to clamp down on rogue preachers who are misleading their followers through indoctrination and religious extremism.
Mimi naomba watu ya dini washirikiane na serikali. Sisi tuko upande wenu. Serikali iko upande wa dini. Mtusaidie ndio tugundue wale wanawaharibia sifa yenu. And we are going to expose you and make sure we isolate you and give you the most severe punishment.
The third phase of Shakahole exhumation of bodies that resumed today will officially start tomorrow, directed by the Interior CS Professor Kithure Kindiki. Salma Swaleh, KUTV.
Let's head over to Sudan, where Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary Dr. Korir Singh has announced that the government has ordered for closure of the diplomatic mission in Sudan, which remained open ever since the war in Sudan kicked off. In a statement, Korir explained that the closure was necessitated by the never-ending war that was targeting diplomatic missions, which remained open amidst wars to facilitate safe evacuation of Kenyans who are living there.
Dr. Korir, in his statement, said that the government continues receiving disturbing news of the targeting of diplomatic officials by armed groups in Khartoum. He noted that the government has shut down the mission, which was still open amidst war, to facilitate evacuation. Even though the offices are closed, there is an agreement with the national airlines and a plane is standby to evacuate people if the war persists. In the past month, the warring factions in Sudan agreed on a truce that was to give room for peace dialogue and humanitarian aid. However, the truce collapsed shortly after the army walked out of the agreement, accusing the paramilitary of not respecting the commitment. The government is expected to release a statement on the number of Kenyans remaining there and how they will be evacuated. About a month ago, Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs Dr. Alfred Mutua revealed that the government had made necessary plans to evacuate Kenyans to safety, which was the reason the missions remained open. In the beginning, more than 900 people were brought back home safely by a multi-agency operation involving teams selected from the Foreign Affairs and Defense Ministry. The warring factions in Sudan, which are the Sudanese Armed Forces and the paramilitary Rapid Support, have resumed war since the termination of the agreement between them, an action that is likely to risk the lives of Kenyans in Sudan. Ivy Bina, KUTV.
Now, elsewhere, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has today chaired the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council, yesterday at his current residence in Nairobi. The meeting, which was attended by several leaders, deliberated on a myriad of issues, key among them the issue of pending bills, which has proved to be recurrent. The DP also took the opportunity to urge the governors to support the housing program.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has once again reiterated his commitment to fight illicit brews and drug addiction in the country. While addressing governors during the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council Summit, the second-in-command stated that illicit brew consumption cases have escalated and will need a multi-sectoral approach to deal with. Gachagua further added that since the mandate of licensing alcohol business was transferred from Nakada to the county government, the illegal sales of illicit brews has grown, thus making it hard to arrest the perpetrators.
As it is, the matter is out of hand, and we are unable as a national government to police the distribution of illicit liquor because it's finding its way into licensed establishments by the county governments, and it becomes difficult to take action against people who are licensed.
Additionally, Gachagua claims that there is a great need for establishment of rehabilitation centers in each county so as to deal with the drug abuse pandemic.
We are asking the county governments to consider the establishment of rehabilitation centers in each and every county to deal with the patients. Even as we try to fight alcoholism and drug abuse, the truth of the matter is that quite a sizable portion of the population is addicted.
Gachagua has also taken the chance to urge governors to support the affordable housing program, citing that no county should be left behind.
We ask that you continue supporting the house program. Many county governments have made land available, and we are very, very grateful. And we want to urge that those who have not been able to identify land for the affordable housing program to continue doing so that we can create affordable housing for our people.
Regarding the issue of pending county bills, Gachagua stated that the governors will have to hold committees to decide what bills are payable while also accounting for them.
There will be 1 week to share notes and compare with what the Controller of Budget has, so that there can be a mutual agreement on what needs to be paid and what needs to be disregarded. Many governors have found huge bills that cannot be explained.
The Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council provides a forum for consultation and cooperation between the national government and county governments regarding the issue affecting counties. Ruth Wanjiru for KUTV.
Right, that is the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua there addressing governors. Now, let's get Gigiri, Nairobi yesterday with renewed hope for better housing and a long-term urban agenda. President William Ruto officiated the meeting, which comes in the backdrop of his housing agenda in the finance bill that has touched off a political storm in the country. Let's listen in.
The second session of the United Nations Habitat Assembly has begun today with President William Ruto officiating the conference. The session theme is to ensure sustainable urbanization through inclusive and effective multilateralism, achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. President Ruto has emphasized the importance of improving the capacity of the United Nations housing by assisting countries in developing the urban growth agenda.
Urban centers have always held the most intense concentrations of both best and the worst human possibilities: wealth and poverty, well-being and suffering, dignity and misery, all in one ecosystem.
The head of state has also noted that Kenya has included universal housing as a crucial pillar of the national bottom-up economic transformation agenda to address some of the issues including economic growth and environmental sustainability. This follows an observation by President Ruto that half of Kenyans are expected to reside in urban areas by the year 2050.
Into the housing program, we have further mainstreamed sustainable urban practices of green building, green spaces, adoption of low-carbon energy use, including low-carbon transport solutions, as well as urban agriculture and effective waste management.
At the same time, President Ruto has claimed that Kenya had started to restore damaged ecosystems and landscapes as part of the Urban Resilience Program.
To these measures under our Urban Resilience Program, we are restoring degraded landscapes and ecosystems through a robust program, which includes increasing Kenya's tree cover from 12% currently to 30% by planting 15 billion trees over the next 10 years.
The second session for UN Habitat Assembly is to be held in Nairobi for 5 days. It comes ahead of the inaugural Africa's Climate Summit, which will be held from September 4th to 6th in preparation for COP28. Dorothy Musyoka, KUTV.
The fate of millions of Kenyans grappling with the high cost of living and potential tax increases hangs in the balance as the National Assembly resumes its sitting today to discuss the Finance Bill of 2023, which outlines the financing methods for the 2023-2024 budget. The government has rallied its MPs to support the bill, while the opposition has actively called for its rejection.
That is brought to you by PB.
After a month-long recess, members of parliament are set to deliberate on the Finance Bill 2023. This bill has sparkled heated debates and political maneuvering, with the government and opposition holding separate meetings to strategize and pursue their objectives. The Finance Bill introduces several provisions that impact Kenyans' lives and finances. Among them are the National Housing Development Fund contribution, which requires both employers and employees to contribute 3% of the employee's monthly basic salary. Individual earnings income from the digital content monetization, such as social media influencers, will now be subject to a 15% withholding tax. The bill also amends the turnover tax by lowering the minimum eligibility threshold to 500,000 Kenya shillings and increasing the turnover tax rate from 1% to 3%. This change aims to broaden the tax base by including more small enterprises while reducing the number of medium enterprises subject to turnover tax. During the public participation exercise, the majority of interested groups disapproved the bill proposed by the government. The opposition has expressed its readiness to challenge certain sections of the bill during the parliamentary debates. National Assembly Minority Leader Opiyo Wandayi stated that they are emboldened by the public support and will voice their concerns in the House. On the other hand, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua asserts that the government hold a comfortable majority in both houses of parliament, making it unlikely for the bill to be voted down. As the National Assembly reconvenes, the finance bill's future hangs in the balance, with Kenyans eagerly awaiting the outcome of the parliamentary deliberations. Patrick Oduor, KUTV.
All right, thank you very much. Those were the updates we have this morning on KUTV's news updates on KUTV Rise Today, but you can follow the rest of our broadcasting. We have KUTV Primetime News at 9 p.m. and we have Mizizi Habari at 6:30 for that Swahili version of more developments. Remember, the finance bill will be debated today. I'm going to get more into the details in the paper, but the deliberations will be there in the programming later on at 9 p.m. So stay tuned. But I'll be back to look at the headlines on the Standard. I have the Business Daily's soft copy. If you have any other, please inform us. I'll be right back. MPs under siege. That is what the Standard is giving us as the top headline. Parliament is resuming business today after 30 days of recess. It's going to test their nerves as there is a political storm brewing in this financial policy that is detailed in the Finance Bill of 2023. I'm going to read a few quotes from various leaders who've weighed in as we await what members of Parliament will be saying today. So here, the President is seen or is quoted saying, "It should be known on which side the members of parliament cast their vote. I'm waiting for a member of parliament who will vote to challenge the government's plan to give the young people who voted for them jobs." So that is the president saying that anyone else who's voting against the finance bill today will be voting against young people who are now supposed to be getting jobs from the finance bill and its propositions. Any Kenya Kwanza MP who shall vote against the finance bill of 2023 should face the full force of the party disciplinary mechanisms. You cannot play opposition politics in government. Party position is supreme. That's Nandi Senator and the majority leader in Senate, Samson Cherargei. Githunguri Member of Parliament, Gathom Mushomba, on the other end, is opposed to this finance bill of 2023. "I will not be cowed by threats and intimidations to support the finance bill. I will go into history that I rejected the oppressive taxes." So we are waiting to see what government will decide, and will the will of the government prevail or the will of the people, as according to what members of parliament who've been voted in to represent the people and not the parties they come from, and they are going to be making that decision as of today. So you can read more of this on page 6 of the Standard, where it's detailing the various remarks which have been there from the various leaders and also what the propositions are. The government is not the only one that is looking at budgeting. The national government isn't the only one. County governments have also received allocations, and they're debating the various budgets for the year 2023-2024. Allocations here already to Turkana, which is the highest allocation at 13 billion, followed by Uasin Gishu at 9 billion, and Nandi at 9 billion as well. So North Rift County Assemblies are starting their discussions on the budget, the 2023-2024 budget. Other counties have already agreed, including Nyeri, whose total estimated budget for the next year is 7 billion. Something that is very notable from their allocation is 1 million to the purchase of coffins. And this, they say, is to help those loved ones within the community who are not able to lay their loved ones, the vulnerable families who are not able to afford coffins for funeral expenses. However, that's just one of them. There are many allocations. The purchase of goats, 27 million for the construction of the governor's residence, 275 million for feasibility studies, 100 million towards the establishment of industries, and also some other 11 billion which are going to be drawn up by that is Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza's administration. So you can get to see what your county is debating in terms of allocation, and our MCAs have already okayed their budget plan, and this is for the financial year 2023-2024. So we are awaiting to see what the national government gets to decide on the finance bill of 2023. The president is insisting that this is going to be an approach to boosting his bottom-up economic model, and it's going to offer jobs towards the youth who voted them into government. Governance expert Tom Boyer said that MPs are representatives of those that elected them through their respective parties and not the parties that they are representing in parliament. When you take a look at the finance bill of 2023, let's get it out of the way through my sentiments as well. There are various allocations, and I'm just going to maybe mention a few to see whether really this is going to take care of the Mwananchi who voted in the Kenya Kwanza government. One, there's that turnover tax, which the bracket has been reduced from a band of 1 million to 500,000. This means if you are a small business person who's been making a turnover of above 500,000, you have not previously been getting this turnover tax. But now, once the finance bill comes into effect, more small businesses and medium enterprises are going to be affected by this taxation. When it comes to insurance, the government is planning through the finance bill again to tax insurance. Now, insurance isn't revenue or profit that you make. Insurance is money that you're given to restore you back to your original state. So if you burnt your house, if your house burnt down, if you got into an accident, an insurance firm pays you to get you back to your original state. But the government wants you to pay taxes on this compensation. So if you're hit by a bus, If you get into an accident and you paid insurance, you will be paying taxes through this proposal that is there in the finance bill. Right, digital content creators. The finance bill of 2023 is proposing a withholding tax of 15%, a government that is supposedly pro-youth, encouraging digitization. It means the little money that you're going to make out of your digital platforms will be taxed by the government. But while we are still on it, there are new taxes in the finance bill of 2023 that are geared towards 1, internet use, and 2, imported smartphones. Now, the government has said it's digitized more than 5,000 of its services online, which means if you're applying for a passport, you're getting your certificate of good conduct, you're renewing your ID, you're accessing this through an online portal. If taxes are increased on airtime and internet use, it's getting more expensive for you to access government services. And the phone that you're using might get even more expensive through imported taxation. Some will argue that this is going to encourage local production, but how many companies do you know in Kenya that are manufacturing smartphones locally? So this is not an exhaustive list. You can take a look at many of the provisions within the finance bill of 2023 and weigh in, tell us really, as according to what the president is saying, is this what is going to help the youth get jobs, or is it really an issue of other vested interests within the government which want to see this see the light of day? MPs are facing a major test over this finance bill. Votes as executive and the public dig in. The space for public participation doesn't seem to exist anymore. Kenyans were asked to give in their remarks according to what the provisions are in the finance bill of 2023, but the president is very insistent that no one should vote against this finance bill that will be presented in Parliament today. You can get to read the test that the MPs are facing in page 6 of the Standard as Ruto is warning these Kenya Kwanza MPs against rejecting it. Peter Salasia, the Mumias East MP, says, I will not vote for the bill. I have not liked the way Ruto is treating MPs. Ruto is operating as if we are being paid from his own pocket. He is not the first person to run an economy. Oscar Sudi, on the other hand, said 2,500 is going to benefit the common man. Those opposing it were in government and will be embarrassed by the strides the country will take. The housing levy, or the housing fund, which is the housing program that the president is touting in this bill, is supposedly to be funded by 3% from every single payslip, and this is to be geared towards helping those who are unemployed and vulnerable and can't afford houses. But even employed people have unemployed relatives and they have unemployed friends. So what about those taking care of those who are unemployed but are already taking some of the money from their own payslip towards this kind of projects? Do they still need to be told how to use their money, or to be told to set aside 3% of their money towards development projects for those who are not privileged, of course, according to what the president is saying? So much more of the finance bill is happening today. Follow the rest of KUTV's broadcasting. You will be seeing the developments at the end of the day. MPs under siege is the top story here on the Standard. The big GMO debate as well, why groups want court orders on page 11 of the Standard. The GMO debate is still with us. The government okayed it, the importation of maize and other genetically modified organisms, but health, social, and top Mount Kenya counties are taking a look at this as well to see whether courts can weigh in on this issue of GMO. So that's as much as the top stories here on the Standard. World Environment Day, I already told you to take a look at the eucalyptus conversation on page 4 of the Standard. And the back of the Business Daily talks, the back of the Standard, talks more of the developments in the world of sports, the exit of major players, and also the return and the twist that is happening there in the Premier League title battle. If you have any other, I did have here the Business Daily, just going to quickly see what the priority has been there on matters of business. Top of business this morning, banks are running scare on the CBK plan to issue digital currencies. So banks, Kenyan banks and Kenyan financial industry players, including banks, have warned that the issuing a central bank digital currency may spark the collapse of the unspecified number of banks. However, the Central Bank of Kenya said it's currently just monitoring the situation and they are not going to be implementing the central bank digital currency anytime soon. This, of course, was opened up for public participation and, of course, public opinion since last year, December 2022. You can still send in your feedback, actually, on the CBK portal, and this is regards to the central bank digital currency. That's the top story there on the Business Daily. Privatization of sugar companies is also there as the top story on the front page of the Business Daily. Mumia's Sugar and a host of other institutions within the Republic which are now going to undergo privatization. These state-owned farms which have been experiencing losses and needing bailout from time to time. So that's what you can expect in the Business Daily. If you have the Daily Nation, tell me how it looks like there. But that's a wrap-up on the newspaper review this morning. I'll be right back. All right, it's 9:31 in the morning. Thank you for staying with us here on Biashara Tuesday. For all those who've sent in their feedback on social media as well on following the live stream on YouTube, we're grateful from KUTV Rise Today that you're able to tune in every single Monday and Tuesday to follow through with the show. On Mondays, you get Current Blessing there on Art and Culture Monday. Ashley Mwangangi is also watching the show and interacting with us on Twitter, and I am grateful to Gamma Jos as well, who is interacting with us on Twitter. We've had discussions on taxes earlier. We've talked about the finance bill as detailed here on the Standard. Also a discussion going to happen in Parliament today. Teach for Kenya fellows who are here to tell us what they're doing to provide quality education. Those conversations will be packaged for you, available on our YouTube channels, KUTV Kenya. Follow us also on social media. Follow my handle at Richard_Kenye. Let's have this conversation even off the show, and then when we get back here, we can delve much more into this. Have yourself a good week, and also have yourself a good day. Thank you.
My name is Alex Moy. I'm founder and creative director of Archer Digital, a digital marketing and advertising agency based here in Nairobi. And we work with small and medium enterprises to help them acquire and retain their customers profitably, doing a whole range of marketing solutions for them, social media, film, and the likes, but really to help them be able to communicate and capture their customers. A little background is it's a youth-owned business. It started from a campus hostel just as a side hustle, and when we actually just finished campus, we just thought, hey, we know the economy sometimes is hard with employment and all that, and since we already have some skills, how about we just start and see how it goes? And it all started with just that. With whatever little money we had in our pockets, we bootstrapped and said, let's start doing this. Our inspiration to start Archer Digital was just the passion of seeing how a little business can be uplifted by the things you do. You help a business design a flyer, it can get a few customers. So the background was helping, even when we were in campus, used to help small businesses around the campus that we were in, do some design for them, and just by that, you'd see that they get a bit more customers, they get some traction, they're happy, they come back to you, do more flyers, things like event posters. So it was the impact that you could feel and the happiness you'd see from somebody else, lighting up from saying that you've done something for them, and this something has led them to continue being in business, and they're happy to pay for that. And hence, it felt like something good to continue, creating value and getting paid for your value as well, meaning that you're doing something impactful and something you enjoy. Yeah. I'd like to say that, with I don't know if it was a clear vision or it was just the thing that made us start the business with that same passion. So our priorities, the change has never been there as much. We've continued just to help other businesses in the same small and medium size. I think just being more prioritized to seeing how can that continue, how can you build that to allow that your team can be bigger and better so that it can serve more and more customers, because the vision now is more clear. It's less of Alex needs to do it or another person in the team. It's now a team effort that we can push, and in the end the result can be seen by whoever wants to engage our services and not limit only a small clique of people to do so. So that in terms of the vision, that's the only thing that's changed, is that we are more clearer to say that anybody who's an SME and wants to figure out a way, they can talk to us through our different products or programs, and we're able to help them. Location is very important in many different businesses, including even a service business who, us, for example, we don't need to be at the front of the mall so that people can see and know us, but some businesses do. So when we decided to start our location, it just started with what can we afford at the time, and that used to be our homes. Like, we used to just work and bring our work together, maybe in a we meet somewhere in town and just discuss maybe the projects we've gotten and show each other, because that was within our budget. We got our first office. It was somewhere convenient, maybe to like our team, where they can come and bring their ideas together, where we could afford, and as well where we could see that our customers are close by. So that was a location. And then we've just evolved as well. Even if we moved to our second location, it became because of that. Somewhere where people can find it easy to come to us, because our job is to eliminate the hardship for the customer. I'd say any business has challenges. No matter how funded, no matter how big you want to start or how small you want to start, there will be challenges. And sometimes I think the biggest one we faced is seeing that we were youth-led business, that we had no past experience in setting up business. We know how to do the marketing, etc., but do we know how to ourselves manage a business, manage operations, human resources? So it was a bit on the information gap, and also funding as well. I would say not that we needed a lot of funds to start, but bootstrapping meant that maybe a vision that you had would take a bit longer, but you'd work hard towards it. So for us, I feel like as you start a business, maybe sometimes look for some advice or a mentor who can tell you, if you want to grow your business, take 10% and save, or do something like that. So we took a bit of longer time to learn that, but as we came to learn it, some of the challenges are reducing. But even now, challenges still come, COVID, elections, but I think it's to remain very steadfast and be very strong to continue in entrepreneurship. Keep your passion in the front of your mind. I think funding or finance will always be an operational concern for any business. You always need to know where will you get your next money so that you can sustain your operation, so that you can also be profitable. And for us, what we started with, the challenge was to keep very lean. As a young team, as young guys, you can afford to maybe like skip a meal. There's nobody depending on you to say that, please send us, I don't have a family maybe or something like that depended on you. So you could keep your finances really lean. If you have the opportunity when starting, you can do that and say that I'll try and keep it as affordable as possible. So we tried to do that for the longest time, and we still do. So managing your finances, learning a bit about financial self-control, financial management, and then I guess putting in systems, the financial systems, like payment apps or your accounting applications, or even the accountant that you might end up needing. So we've managed it that way, and then now we continue to fund our business through operations, being able to work for clients, then taking that work and paying the dues that are there, so employees, office rent, and so on. But you keep budgeting, seeing your payments are coming in, then continue. Don't rush into now taking a whole team of 20 and then saying, let's wait for work. You have to grow at pace. And if you do need a big team in the beginning, then you might need to find some financing to be able to sort you out. But good thing that the world is really opening up. There's all these programs. Banks are listening. Funders are available. So I guess it's figuring out what do you want to do. Then share your passion widely with all the people you want to see. Maybe be part of your clients or be part of people who trust in you. Being in a service business, I think any business as well, just like finance, I think people are just as a strong component. You need people so that you can grow. You need to work collaboratively with people, clients, consultants, and the better you work with them, the better you can see our growth. So when we started, we knew that our people will be a very important part of our business. So no matter what kind of position we were hiring for, even a very entry-level position, we'd want at least to hear the perspective of the people we are sorting from and seek professional advice. If it's somebody who does graphic design, what do they need to have, what capacity, and then start and trust each other like in a partnership and say, this is where we are. We're a startup and we're trying to do this in a very transparent kind of way. And now Source for Talent, there's a lot of youth these days, and they're ready and they're trainable. They're happy to be shown the way. So sometimes, even if your budget doesn't allow, what it can allow you is to be able to grow together. So we've done a lot of training and started with a very young team. So we are growing together and showing the vision so that we can work together towards it. And then, just keep the respect. I think just like humans, you treat them well, you get to collaborate well. Our model of serving SMEs, not a lot of agencies can afford to help a small growing business because maybe they need larger budgets. So I think the uniqueness is for us, we've always been razor focused on whatever business that comes on board, what's the fastest way we can get them to profitability, or at least getting their return from marketing and advertising so that they can meet their goals. So that's usually our key concern. Then at any stage of a growing or small business, we listen and say, I think we have a training program for you. This one is actually free. We have this one, you can pay this much. So we listen to the needs and tailor the solution to the customer. And I feel that's very unique because there's no SME that's the same. I might own a restaurant, both of us own a restaurant, but this one is here, another one is here. But they all are trying to do business. So our biggest marketing strategy is ignoring the competitors and not trying to figure out what are they doing, but yet focusing on our own product. If I was a restaurant, I would, for example, say, if I make biryani, I'm just focusing on having the best biryani in town. If there's another neighbor who's also making biryani, good for him. Everybody needs to eat. So if you want to eat there, that biryani, and you can find my biryani as well, really good. So for us, it's been, let's focus on having good products for the customers that they leave saying, wow, these guys have really helped us, so that we can keep them over a long time and we can continue supporting them. So our biggest marketing strategy has been along supporting customers really well. And then now reaching out, I think just as well seeing the solution that you can provide to a business. So we also do our own same social media marketing, digital marketing, website. We've done the foundations of what needs to be done in our industry. And yeah, we also get customers from that. So within our constraints, we try and do the same. We define success by every happy customer or happy engagement that leads to, I came to you guys, I had this problem. The problem was humongous. We've solved 90% or 50% of it. I'm really happy because my business is moving along and I want to continue being helped. So success for us means continuing to serve customers who have more and more needs. And then also our team growth, happiness to see that our team can grow from a designer to an art director, from as well, obviously the bottom line, if you're able to at least pay everybody and earn your back, you can keep your business afloat and look at it at scale. But for us, the ultimate would be to scale our business to the heights of Africa or the world, to be able to say Archer can support the same SME in South Africa, the same SME in East Africa, and we're able to do that right now remotely. But as we grow, we're hoping, what if we had an Archer in South Africa, another one in Nigeria, and if that serves the customers we'll have then, we'll be very happy. What I enjoyed most about starting the company is I think I'm a person who enjoys a bit of a challenge. So that seeing that what I learned and what's on the ground is something, you learned this, but you have to apply it this way to the real world to be able to earn your keep. So it means that you're always problem solving, you're always being innovative, you're always listening to somebody's passion and need, and you're like, wow, your business, I really love it, I really want to help you like this. And it's something I've really enjoyed, the joy of working with, up to date we've worked with 114 SMEs, just touching their business, and this guy is like, wow, that's really fantastic, A, B, C, D. And even when we go wrong, seeing that we can still be human and discuss this and say, oh client, we're sorry, but we can fix it and rectify it. I've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed growing an amazing team, growing and working with very friendly, nice people I enjoy to see, to have meetings with and to collaborate on different projects. So for me, that's been the biggest joy so far. I guess my greatest motivation is to see Africa come alive a bit, the youth also find opportunities. I can't change maybe the whole world, but I can change, a small circle of, for example, now the small circle of 114 businesses we worked with and our team that we have. I mean, that's a small change in the right direction towards, what I feel is a good ideal. But I keep being inspired by so many African young business owners, inspired by just people solving real world problems today. So even seeing those products that we market that are solving problems for others, you're like, wow, this guy has an app that does this and it's helping somebody else. So that's also my inspiration. I've been very much inspired by a lot of African leaders and young people actually doing great things. I really like Vusi Tembekwaya of South Africa, who's a very inspirational speaker, advises young people in business. Vusi Tembekwaya. Yeah, Vusi Tembekwaya, good writer, good inspirational leader. At the Sandbox as well, where we are, I think I found good leadership in a lot of the SMEs we work with. But very particularly, I think Joram Winamo has inspired me in the business world and mentored me a bit. And globally, if you think about it, marketing-wise, I've been inspired by the likes of Simon Sinek, who's quite a thought leader in differentiating and doing things with the real purpose of why, and impacting real things. Just don't do marketing to do marketing. Enjoy what you do and really look at the results for others. So those have been really inspirational, I guess, people for me. My advice, if you really want to be an entrepreneur or you're just looking into the space, even if you're in a 9 to 5, it doesn't limit you from being an entrepreneur. You can, within your organization, for example, Archer is an SME as well. I've found people in our team who've looked at how can we grow it, and we've grown it together. That's called entrepreneurship, because only the growth of where you are. If you're in somewhere and you don't want it to grow, you can't grow. So for me, is if you want to go into entrepreneurship, I would believe that it's important to really have the passion for whatever you want to do. Don't open a restaurant if you don't like cooking or if you don't like the smell of food. So I believe is find something you really like, find to solve a real problem that's in the market as well. Don't just create an ideal product. Create something that you would ask 5 of your friends, would you pay for this? And they'll say, wow, Alex, you have a really good idea. I would. And now take it and try and mold it and I think entrepreneurship has a level of patience that you need. Don't be thinking that you open today and there will be 50 customers at your door. Open and plan and think and come back, and also be very rigid. Not rigid, be very ready to grow into the position. With entrepreneurship comes the need to know so many things, need to connect with so many people, need to learn so many new skills. I think it's very important for you to be able to put your mind into, this is where I want to go. And even in a 9 to 5, don't be settled and content. I know the value these days that any business or anybody in business feels is that if my team just as well can think, how do we go the next step? That's the only way we can go, because I might not have all the solutions. Even me, I just woke up and started to solve something. Maybe I'm not seeing the problem you're seeing. So if we can work together and we can build it, let's do it. Let's not be content with just being at a 9 to 5 and doing, I wake up and I go and I come back at home and I've been told to do this and I'm done. Because our work is really wide range with a lot with SMEs, I'd say we work on everything and anything. I think for us, projects involve, film creation, involve digital marketing things, websites, SEO. And what I'm really proud of is that the capacity of what we are doing is being seen, is actually the same things that you will see people globally are doing. So we're doing work, for example, in Egypt, we're doing work in Nigeria, straight from here in Kenya, and we're getting those clients the happiness, the results that they want. So for me, it feels like whatever project we're taking on, we're just looking at how do we get it to the next step? And if it's getting to the next step, we continue and again. So it could be so many things. But maybe particularly as well, I host a training workshop for SMEs, and I really enjoy, I think, that mentorship and guidance with small businesses. And I guess why I'm very happy to be on this show today.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and have a good one. Good luck, entrepreneurs.
I'm the boss, so man, I hustle every day. Pillar, and a perfect day to boss up. I take my ngom on, I get myself in this position. Nyaka ne, gigi baba, nyaka bet vision.